in Washington, D.C. And I'm really excited about this episode. Yes, I know I say that all the time, but I'm always especially excited when I get to talk to a sister in entrepreneurship, man. This young lady I have here today, she is doing the damn thing, man. I'm really, really proud of her as a sister. I'm excited to talk with her. I think you guys are going to get a lot of great value. She is Maya Billingsley. She is the owner and creator of 24/7 Watches. Maya, welcome to the 40 Culture Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. So first of all, Maya, obviously, I want to talk about your brand, talk about your background. For those of my listeners out there that's not familiar with 24/7 Watches, before we even get into that and we get into brand talk, tell me a little bit about your background, like where you from, what did you do before 24/7 Watches?
Yeah, so I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, born and raised.
Okay.
I worked in, let me see, where do I start? Get to the good stuff. I went to Tennessee State,
Okay.
graduated there.
TSU.
Yeah. 2012, I have a degree in
HBCU
economics.
pride.
Yep. So
Nice.
I got a degree in economics from there. What did I do after college? I came back home. um, and I worked in the health insurance field for about 4 years. Um, Lost my job there. Then I started working for a big telecommunications company. I still work for them today. I work in sales now. So that's pretty much what I do.
Okay.
I played college golf. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I played college golf.
Ah,
Yeah, all 4 years. I've been playing golf since I was 7. So
wow.
golf was
Who got you
always,
into
yeah.
that?
I think because this was like, when did I start? Like 97. So this was when Tiger Woods was like really, really big. So I think
Okay.
his influence, just seeing him on TV, because representation matters, right? So I was like,
Hmm.
that looks kind of cool. And golf kind of fit my personality because I've always been an introvert. Golf is
Mm.
quiet. So I was like, yeah, I can do this. So my elementary school had a golf team, so I signed up for it, and that was it.
Your
That was
elementary school
it.
had a
So
golf team, so you from an
yeah,
affluent area then, huh?
no. No,
No,
I went to an all black elementary school and they just happened to have a golf team. So I signed up. So yeah.
that's dope.
Um, so yeah, earned a golf scholarship. After college, I worked in health insurance and everything. So I just basically got to a point to where I wasn't satisfied with where I was in life. Not that I was doing bad, I just knew I could be doing more. So the first thing I did was I changed who I followed on social media. Um, so that helped. So I really did it on Twitter. So I just started following people with my version of success, which is time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. So I just kind of curated my timeline like that. It helped me change my mindset. I started reading a lot more. Um,
Mm.
Started listening to different podcasts like Earn Your Leisure, things like that. So um, somebody dropped a course on Chris Johnson. Shout out to him. He dropped a course on e-commerce. I bought it. I decided to do watches because I always collected watches anyway, and that's it. Here I am. There.
Wow. Now, when you
Yeah.
decided to go in and change your timeline, your Twitter timeline in particular,
Mm-hmm.
what year was that?
What was 2020? This was 2018.
Okay,
Yeah,
so just 2 years ago.
2018.
So
Mm-hmm.
what were you previously following? Like what type of content did you consume? Was it like entertainment, sports, golf,
Mostly,
music?
yeah, mostly entertainment.
Okay,
Outside of my friends, yeah, mostly entertainment. A bunch of
gotcha.
gossip, stuff like
I
that.
feel you. Now, who are some of those
That was it.
influences, those influencers that come to mind that you feel like help change your mindset? I know you mentioned Chris Johnson. He absolutely helps change my mindset as well. He's really
Yeah,
inspiring.
Chris Johnson. Yeah, Chris is cool. Todd Million, I think that's his name on.
He
His
always
name a
switching
lot,
it.
but
Todd Billion,
shout out
Todd
to him.
Millie.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, yeah. So he was a big influence. He actually did my LLC, so he's always been a big supporter.
Okay.
Um, Paris, I
Okay.
forgot her. I don't know anybody's username anymore, but Sierra, the whole, it's like a LLC corner of of Twitter, but Chris
Yeah,
and
call it.
Todd were the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, I call it Black Wealth Twitter, and I'm so happy. I feel
Right.
like I was late to the game. I wasn't on it in
Mhm.
2018. I've just never really been a Twitter person.
Yeah.
But like, I got hit maybe late 2019. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh shoot, it's a whole different
Whole
society. I
community.
need to tap into,
Yep. Yep.
bruh. And
Mhm.
Todd, like you said, Todd showed you love. Todd follows me back. He's always showed love to me.
Yeah, Todd
Definitely
is
a
dope.
good dude. You know.
Yeah.
But okay. So you was an econ major. You know what? Anytime I hear that word, both macro and micro, like I had to retake 104. I think that's macro, and I was just like, all the elasticity and
Yeah.
supply and demand, I'm good. But you probably
Economics is hard.
yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
even
so
know how I
important.
got through it. It is important, but yeah, I just
Yeah, I feel you.
I had some friends that were really good in it, so we helped each other out so we can pass. But I learned a lot with economics stuff, even though I didn't use it like directly. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Oh, you use it. You use it, especially being a
Yeah.
business owner, or
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So you played golf pretty much all your life. I know I was listening to, well, I first heard out. Well, I knew of 24/7 watches. I think from Todd. I think he
Uh-huh.
repost some of your stuff.
Yeah.
And I first heard from you personally, though, like the person behind the brand, off his Tweet Talks podcast.
Hmm.
And I know that you were mentioning that not only did you are an avid golf player, but you actually, one of your aspirations is to teach golf to the youth, right?
Yes, that's on my list
Okay.
to get to later on. I think I want to do youth, and I want to do like young Black professionals too, so they can get in because it's a lot of money on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to be in that space. Even if you're not good at golf, that's okay. But as long as you know at least some of the rules and know like proper golf course etiquette, and you can at least get the ball off the tee,
Mm.
and keep it in play most of the time, then you're okay. But I think it's good for us to be exposed to different sports like that besides the usual.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. That's so dope.
Yeah.
All right, so let's rewind a bit. So 2018, well,
Hmm.
actually, just rewind back to 2012 when you graduated undergrad. I know you had mentioned that you were actually considering law school, right?
I went to law school. Yeah, for
Oh,
like
you went to law school.
yeah, I went for like 2 years. Yeah.
Oh wow, you know what? I'm a law school dropout myself. I went to Howard. I
For
moved to
real?
DC and everything. Yeah, I was living in
Okay.
Brooklyn. I was
Mm.
living in Brooklyn, and then I was like, oh well, I went to PWI for undergrad. I always wanted to do the HBCU.
Okay.
It's only
Yeah.
one Mecca. If I'm gonna go
Of course.
HBCU, I gotta go to HU.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I got there, man, and it just was not. I was like, bruh, I'm not. Why am I putting myself in all this debt? Like, I
Hmm.
went to undergrad for free, which was a blessing.
That's
But
good. Yeah.
I think I was just trying to make my mom happy. She
Yep.
always wanted me to be an attorney. And it was like,
Hmm.
at most I was going to be a sports agent. Then I found out, you
Yeah.
don't necessarily need a law degree to be a sports agent. So I'm like, why am
Nope.
I here? So I bounced, and I've been on this entrepreneur wave ever since, man. And I'm not looking back.
That's dope. So, did you like law school at all?
You know what? It wasn't in vain. I feel like I think the skill that you hear often, you learn how to think like a lawyer. I
Yeah.
think that's it's an essential skill to have, and especially in the business world.
Hmm.
And then I met some of my best friends in law school. I made lifelong
Yeah.
friends. So did I like law school? Coming from a journalistic background, my undergraduate degree was in journalism.
Okay.
So I'm a writer.
Yeah.
And law school is cut to fluff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
It
it
is.
was quite an adjustment for me.
Mhm.
I didn't necessarily like that aspect of legal writing.
Mhm.
But I really enjoyed like the Socratic method and stuff like that, having to be on
Okay.
your toes, having to do your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
I don't like the curve, I tell you that.
Yeah. The curve is. It can be tough.
That's
You're on
me.
the wrong
It's
side of it.
me.
Yeah.
What about you? What made you walk away? Did you like law school or no?
I actually hated every second of it. There was
Mm,
nothing about law school that I liked. I thought I was gonna like it, but I guess I underestimated how much work it was.
mm.
I think the biggest thing for me, I didn't like how much time it took away from my personal life, and I was
I
working
got you.
full time too. So it's like
Ooh.
it's tough, right? You know how much you got to read, with
Wait,
law
did you
school.
go?
Yeah.
You went? Were you a full-time student?
I was a part-time student and I was
Okay,
working my 9 to 5, but it was still tough, like
I got you.
trying to balance the 9 to 5 and that. But yeah, it just took a lot of time away from my personal life. And I used to get frustrated, like reading the cases, because learning the laws like learning a different language. So having to
Hmm.
read the Black's Law Dictionary every other word when I started out, that was frustrating. It's like,
Yeah.
I know how to comprehend, but I can't comprehend this. But of course, it got better, as time went on. But I dropped out mainly because when I lost my job, I couldn't pay anymore because I didn't take out any loans. I was paying that out of pocket.
Mm.
Um, and I just decided not to go back. I just had a big reflection period when I wasn't working. I was like, I don't even like, this stuff. And when I
Wow.
visited one of the top law firms, we had like I guess for lack of a better term, a field trip to one of the top law firms in Birmingham. I saw what lawyers did every day. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to bill all
Mm.
these hours. It's going to take away from the life that I really want.
Gotcha.
So I decided not to go back, once I got back on my feet again.
So prior to taking your LSAT and actually
Mm-hmm.
going, what did you think? What type of lawyer did you want to be? What type of law did you want to practice?
I thought about family law, and I
Mm.
thought about real estate because that's my family. My family, they pretty much do real estate. Um,
Okay.
so after experiencing my closing, when I closed on my condo, I was like, "This is easy money. Like this lawyer
Mm.
just made $5,000 just to tell me where to sign." You know,
The
in like
hustle.
1 hour. I know. I was like, "Yeah, I can do this," but I mean, I just decided not to go back to school. But yeah, I was thinking about family law or real estate.
Yeah, I got you. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's true. I think that I probably was the same way because
Mm-hmm.
especially if you do so well in undergrad, you think like, oh, I'm smart. I get A's. It's nothing. Law
Man,
school.
law school
Law
will
school's a whole.
humble you.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
it will
I
humble you. Like
definitely
I thought
was.
I was smart.
Yeah, for real. It make you
Yeah.
reconsider. But
Mm-hmm.
and just I kind of agree with you. I definitely law school. I not only did 1 year, but
Okay.
that was some of the most darkest, depressed moments of my
Mm-hmm.
life. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I said, I made good friends, but at the end of the day, it was some depressing moments. And I wish one thing I
Yeah.
do regret, I should have taken advantage of study groups because I look at the
I
people that
did
did
study groups.
well.
Yeah.
I see. I didn't, and sometimes you need that.
Mm-hmm.
Other people to go off of,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the test.
Right. I should have done study groups with people that I weren't friends with. Because you get in a study group, you start talking about other stuff, and you're like, dang, we
Hmm.
ain't even studied yet. So yeah, I should have done it with people that I wasn't really cool with like that. I think it would have been more productive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my confidence level wasn't really there. Um, I just felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I wasn't smart enough. So that kind
Oh,
of messed with me a little bit. I think if I went back
yeah.
to law school now, I think I would kill it because I'm more confident in my abilities now. But then I
Mm.
wasn't. I wasn't confident at all. Yeah.
Now, how many years did you take any time off between undergrad and law school?
Did I take? Yeah, I took. It might have been 2 years off. I think,
Okay, I did
if I
4.
remember correctly. Yeah. Yeah. So I wasn't too far removed, but
Yeah, time was
I
just
don't think
fleeting,
it
man.
really matters because you have to study different in law school. You can't take the same approach in undergrad, so it's different. You got to learn everything all over again.
Would you ever go back and complete that, or you got any regrets for leaving?
No, I'm glad I had the experience. Because even though it was only 2 years, I still learned a lot. And
Hmm.
it taught me a lot how to think more critically. So I do appreciate that. And I made
Hmm.
some friends that I'm still friends with today. But going back, I don't think I want to dedicate that much time to that. I'd rather spend my time doing something else. So no.
Girl, I couldn't have said it any better. I feel the exact same way, and I feel like
Yeah.
a loss is not a loss; it's a lesson. I wouldn't say any. That's why I
Hmm.
said my law school experience wasn't in vain. I feel like I've learned so
Yeah.
much, especially for me being a sports agent. Like that year of contracts, like you can't jig me on no contract. I know
Yeah.
my contracts front to
Right.
back, so I feel like
Yeah.
I definitely learned a lot, and
Hmm.
yeah, so it wasn't in vain at all.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I know you mentioned that your family is actually in real estate. Has that been since you was a child? What type of capacity are they? Are they investors or realtors?
It's
What's their
both.
background?
So my mom and my grandma are agents.
Okay.
So they've been doing that for a long time. So I grew up going to a bunch of closings,
Okay. Dope.
and showing houses and everything. So my late great uncle was a developer. He built the whole subdivision in Birmingham. So he was also a broker too. And I have another side of the family. They're just investors. So yeah.
Okay,
That
super
was our
dope.
thing.
So
Yeah.
normalized closing. She said, "I've been going to
Yep.
closing since I was a kid."
Yep.
That's super
Yep. I used
dope.
to
So what
hate going
about
to
you? Are you
closings.
for real? Oh
Yeah.
man, that's where the money is made. But as a
I
kid, I can
know,
see
but I
that's
had
getting
to sit
boring.
there. Yeah. I was like, I'm ready to go. But yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. So are you involved in any capacity with real estate?
I just got into mobile home investing.
Okay,
So yeah, so
congrats.
that's gonna be thank you.
Mhm.
Actually hoping to close my first deal today. Me and my business partner, at least by tomorrow, definitely.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, look at that coincidence. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Well, cheers to that, man. First one. First
Thank
one.
you. Thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. Um, so let's talk about 24/7 watches. When I found out about the brand, I was like, man, this is a woman, black woman that created her own watch line. Like, how super dope is that?
Thank
So
you.
rewind back for me. So I know you mentioned that, Chris Johnson was a guy that, helped. Well, you bought his course, right? What's the
I
name?
did.
What course was it that you bought?
It was Profit King and I forgot the name of the other one. It was two though. It was like a bundle. But it was the first two
Okay.
courses he ever released though. Yeah.
Oh wow, so you was early to Chris. So
Yeah.
a lot of people I feel like spend their money, make an investment in themselves, and then they
Hmm.
take the course. A lot of people I think it's a low completion rate that people have to even complete in the course. But not only did you complete it, you actually, you
Took
put
action.
you took action. What they call it,
Yeah.
massive
All
action.
right. Yeah.
So then you just hit the ground running. So tell me what that looks like. What was it that you think that you gained mostly from Chris' course, or what made you take action?
The fact that it was attainable. Like I didn't know, like even though I was a business major, they didn't teach me how to run a business. I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't learn that when I was, economics major. And that's not like a shot at TSU, but that's just, that's the reality of it. So I didn't know it was that easy to get products and make a
Mm-hmm.
site and just have a full business. Like I had no idea that it was just so easy to do. It's easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. I put it there, if that makes sense. Running a business. So I learned a lot of things along the way. A lot of times you won't understand things until you actually start doing it. So I think that's really what it was for me. But once I started, I was like, okay, I learned how to negotiate with different manufacturers. I learned how to tell them like, no, I don't like this. I want to have it this way. How you order samples. Making a website, editing the website, how important photography is. So I learned a lot, within the past 2 years. Yeah.
And this was your first step. This was your first jab at entrepreneurship. This was your first business.
Yeah, my first official business. I used to sell candy and snacks in high school.
Oh well,
Back
girl,
when I
we
was
all
pretty
did
thin.
that. We all hustlers. We all did that.
Right.
That don't
And
count.
that was it. I was kind of serious about it though, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So this is my first official business. Yeah.
Hey, the natural what you call it, the natural progression from snacks is the
Hmm.
vending machines.
Yeah.
Tired to tell you that.
Yeah.
Todd and Marcus Graham are the ones that got me hip to the vending machines, and
Yeah. I follow Marcus. I want to get I want to get a route though. I don't think I
no,
want to
I feel
start
you.
one.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
soliciting get real old after a while. You're like, if I get
Hmm.
one more no, but that's sales.
Right.
You know
Of
sales.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so why watches?
I always collected watches.
Really?
Yeah, like ever since I learned how to tell time, like I always collected watches. So I was like, why not? Um,
Okay.
so I just stuck with it. I started out with women's watches at first.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, I wish I had. I don't even have my first watch I sold
Come
out
on,
of.
what's up with the
But
product placement?
I know. I mean, I got the watches I got now. Of course, I got those, but
Dope.
my first watch I don't have. But yeah, I started out with women's watches. The hardest thing for me was figuring out my target audience. I didn't really have one when I started out. But I decided to just rebrand and do it, for entrepreneurs who value their time and wealth, because that's all I really talked about on my personal social media anyway. So I was like, it's easier for me to just do that. So I just rebranded the whole thing, switched to wood watches. So yeah.
And you know what? That tagline, that branding, that motto is exactly what caught my eye to it. Like, catering to entrepreneurs and anyone that values their wealth and their time. Like, that says everything. That's like, so I was like, man, that sounds like me. What's up?
Yeah.
Now, I'm a plain Jane when it comes to watches. Like, I usually just do my Apple Watch, but I took a look at your watches. I was like, this is kind of dope. Like, you really don't see wood watches like that.
Yeah, that's why I chose them. After I sell out of these, I probably won't do wood watches anymore. I'm looking at moving towards maybe like a mesh band. I do plan to get like Apple Watch bands. So I know people like Apple Watches. I still like my old school, watch, but yeah. So I'm definitely gonna.
You know what? You gonna laugh at me. But I used to just wear like the real watches for like decoration and like, not decoration, what you call it? Or and people will be like, when they see you with a watch, they're like, oh, you got the time? And I had to pull my phone because I couldn't tell. At least not.
No, a lot
I can tell time now, y'all.
No, a lot of people do that. You'll be surprised. A lot of people wear watches and like the battery's dead. I'm like, why you got on the watch? But like, I actually look at my watch for time. Like, but I guess because I just like watches. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you probably good with the Roman numerals and the dots.
Yeah, it don't matter. I used to have a watch that didn't have any dots or anything. It was just blank, but I could still tell time on it because I knew where everything was placed. But yeah, kind of like how the Movado watches are. Yeah, I had a watch like that. Mm-hmm.
So what was your inspiration? Did you have a favorite watch coming up or growing up, and you was like, oh, I took inspiration from that? Like, what made you? And wood is so different. Like, what made you?
It is.
Like your first batch, if you could think back to that, what was your inspiration?
For the wood watches, I used to buy watches from another Black-owned company called Spring Break Watches. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're Black-owned. I think the owners are I think they went to like North Carolina A&T. So they started a watch brand. I stumbled across them on Instagram, and I got like 6 or 7 of their watches. I got a whole collection, so they were really the inspiration behind me doing the wood watch because they are different. So shout out to Spring Break Watches. Yeah,
shout out to them. I do know one Black watchmaker. Are you familiar with Tally and Twine? I think it's Twine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tally and Twine.
Yeah, they have really nice watches. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually ordered one for my boyfriend maybe about 3 years ago. Yeah, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's
they look really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're actually not too far from here. I think they're in, let me see, I'm in DC. No, they're in VA. I think they're in Portsmouth, VA, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I had a Portsmouth before. Okay, yeah. That's cool.
Cool. Okay, so 2018, you decide like, well, I'm already passionate about watches. Let me start a watch brand. What was first thing first? Was it, let me find manufacturing? Did you create your own designs? Like, if you could walk me through, like, what building that business model looks like and what difficulties
so after I watched the course, sorry about it. Let me put this on vibrate. I thought I had it on Do Not Disturb. So the first thing I did was, after I watched the course, I went and found manufacturers. I started, talking to them. And I basically picked out a whole bunch of watches that I liked. I talked to the manufacturers. I ordered samples. I didn't do my own custom design because you can do it in like Adobe. And I want to get to that eventually. I'll get somebody to do it for me because I don't feel like learning Adobe. But I just basically made changes to the watches, like adding my logo in certain places, making sure the packaging was good, things like that. But that was the first thing I did. Just really getting used to talking to manufacturers.
Okay.
After that, testing the samples probably took the longest.
Your manufacturers are...
You said, what was that?
So for your manufacturers, before making a selection, well, first of all, are your manufacturers, are they domestic or are they international?
International.
Okay, so like, is that in terms even as samples, are you sending them mock-ups and then they send it and then you approve them, or how's
So
that?
they'll have a sample watch, like take this watch. It was a blank canvas basically,
Mm-hmm.
and I just told them to put my logo in certain places. I told them to engrave it. I told them to engrave the full logo on the back and put it on the clasp. So that was basically all I did, and I changed the colors of the hands because the hands were a different color. But that's basically it. They'll have these model watches, and you can make any tweaks you want to them. If you want to send in your own custom design, you can do that too. So you can really do. They'll do whatever you tell them to do. You know, of course, as long as you got the money. Um, but dealing with things internationally, it was. I guess it was kind of overwhelming at first because, of course, you have to deal with the shipping. They usually send the samples out really quick if you don't get them custom. But when you start getting custom samples, that can take like 3 weeks. And then when you place your big order, that can take anywhere from like 45 to 60 days for your bulk order because they have to, of course, make all the watches and send it out. So, and it's got to get through customs in Cincinnati, and then, you know, you get it through like DHL usually. But yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge is dealing with the samples.
Gotcha. That's interesting. So,
Mm-hmm.
what in terms of communicating with the manufacturers, was it a language barrier? What were some of your difficulties with that? Was there room for negotiations, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can negotiate the minimum quantity that you get. We communicated mostly on WhatsApp. That's usually how they communicate. The language barrier, it wasn't there. They're pretty good with their English.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
So that
now,
helps.
are your distributors? Is this China?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Hmm.
About how many did you have to source through before you found your partner?
Man, I would say at least 20.
Ah.
So it's a lot, yeah. Because you got to make sure, because like I got samples from certain manufacturers, it wasn't really good quality. So you just got to keep testing, keep testing, keep testing. So because you want to make sure you put out something good.
For
So
sure.
yeah.
So, being that this was your newbie, this was you were new to the watch business. How did you know what to
Hmm.
look for? Was it kind of just like learn by trial and error, or
It was
you being
trial
a
and
watch?
error. It
Okay,
was trial and error for me because I was wearing wood watches for the past like 3 years over any other type of material. So it was really just trial and error. I was like, okay, I know not to get certain kind of watches, or I just know not to deal with this manufacturer at all because they're not good. So it was just a lot of trial and error.
now by it being trial and error, I know like
Mm-hmm.
what Charles in particular, he always talks about like hopping off the porch. He always talks about how like we be scared, we think we everything got to be perfect. You know what I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
before we put something out because we're scared of being criticized.
Yeah.
My question to you is, did you take a couple months to make sure like, oh, I want to make sure this link don't break, let me make sure, at what point was you confident or like, to where you can put this product out, like I could put my stamp behind this, like my
Mm-hmm.
name on this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did it
Once
how
I
did that go?
wore it, and I had a couple friends wear the samples too, and they told me, well, it's good, it's this, it's that. I was like, okay, well, I feel confident enough to place this bulk order, and I did. But I agree with Charles when he says that I think we do just need to just jump off the porch because had I watched the course and then waited till I got everything perfect, I don't know when I would have started, you know.
Mm,
So I think you just got to roll with the punches and just go ahead and put the product out and improve it later. That's what big companies do anyway. So
that's very
you do the
true.
same thing. Yep.
Cool. All right, yeah, that's good insight for anybody that wants to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key. Like you got to jump off the porch.
Yep.
Perfection
Just
doesn't
start.
come overnight. You know what I'm saying? Nobody.
Exactly. It don't come at all. You always gonna be improving your business,
That's
like
true.
always. There's always something. So yeah, you just gotta start and just do the best you can, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so do you think that well, my question is in terms of the manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
I never took Chris' course, so I'm not sure if he goes into that. But how did you know, like, in terms of what was a good price, what was a bad price? Did you just go off what the competitors were saying and then try to
Mm,
wiggle there? I guess
You
what
mean
questions did you know to ask?
Questions to ask the manufacturers. I think he went over it in the course, I believe. Because it really just all comes down to price and what you can afford.
Okay.
So that's really just going to depend. The biggest thing is just making sure you get a manufacturer that doesn't require a large quantity up front. So, like my manufacturer I use, you got to get at least 100 of each style, which is kind of steep. But if I top them down from 300 per style,
Oh,
so I did
wow.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So for my next batch, I really want to find somebody that does like 50. So I'll start working on that. But that's really the biggest thing, that the quantity.
Okay, that's interesting. Because a lot of people, they want to start a clothing line, or say, for instance, like T-shirts. And you see a lot of this on Facebook and all these advertising that we bombarded with on social media. A lot of people opt for the print on demand. You know what I'm saying, like the Teesprings and stuff like that. But for a person like yourself, where I guess a lot of people feel like it's a lot of fear. It's like, oh my God, I don't want all this inventory sitting around and it's not selling. So I'd rather do the Teespring thing or something. And people just, they print it for me. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, the drop shipping method, it can work. And I do want to eventually get to that place once I scale my business all the way out. Like I want my business to be able to run without me. So I'm working on getting those systems in place, but yeah, starting out, I think it's good that I chose to hold my own inventory because I have full control over everything. Because with drop shipping, the shipping dates can be longer. Like I ship my stuff out most of the time next day, at least within the next 2 days, unless I'm just, like super busy. So I just have full control. You can get more personable with your customers. So like, for example, I remove the links for free. So whenever somebody orders a watch, I'll text them and thank them for, supporting the company. And I ask them for like a picture of their wrist or like their measurements. And I remove the links, if it's necessary. So I wouldn't be able to do that if I was drop shipping.
Wow. So your watches actually literally have a personal touch.
Right. Exactly.
That's really cool. That's really good. And that's special. That's a part of your brand story. You know what I'm saying? Because not every brand can say that. Most of them is doing like, don't even touch the product. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, exactly. Yep.
That's really cool. So you're doing your own shipping and everything.
Yeah, I do everything for now.
That's super dope. So in terms of your business structure, do you have a partner? What does your team look like?
It's just me right now.
Okay.
Just me. Yep.
That's what's up. That's black girl magic.
Yep. Yeah, I want to eventually get a team, as it grows. But yeah, just me for now.
So what's your vision? What's your vision for 24/7 watches?
My vision for 24/7 watches, besides selling watches, I just want to promote financial literacy to the community. That's why I named all my watches after, wealth principles. So I got the fortune, the principle, and the equity. So all my collections are going to be based off that. Eventually, I am working on starting a blog that's going to be linked to the site. So I just talk about different finance stuff since I got a finance background. So I might talk about, budgeting, things like that. So, but that's the main goal, just to keep promoting financial literacy for us, and really just teaching us how to build wealth because we need that, So
right. Why do you
that's
think?
My big goal.
Why do you think financial literacy, in particular to our culture, is essential? It's like really important.
Because we're just so far behind. We're so used to struggling, and a lot of us don't even think that we can own businesses or own anything. It's normal for us to just be flat broke, and that's not good. You can't really live the life you want if you're broke. At least I can't, for the life that I want. I can't speak for everybody, but for the type of life that I want, I'm gonna need a lot of money.
No, facts.
That's facts. So I got to do what I can.
It's interesting you said that. I get into it a lot on social media, and I'm more active on Facebook. I'm an old head. I know I need to get more active.
I can't. I almost want to delete my Facebook.
Girl, I've been on there since 06, since undergrad, and it's just. And you know what's so funny about Facebook? I've talked and had long out debates and back and forth with people on Facebook on my statuses and stuff. And this is with people I've never met, but I like talk to them every day virtually. And then like, I think Twitter has changed, but like back in the day, it used to be 140 characters. It's like, and I'm long-winded. That's the journalist in me. It's like, there's no way I can say all what I got to say. Cause I be going on rants, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Facebook got me like that. But, I say all this to say, I talk about this a lot, and I catch a lot of flack about, you know, wealth, particularly Black wealth. Like, and I catch a lot of flack because this one guy said, you know, money is not the answer, money is not everything, and I'm like, you know what, it's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need, we're not going to get our reparations. We never got our 40 acres and a mule. Nobody's going to come save us. Yeah. Nobody's sending us a boat.
Right.
And people were attacking Black capitalists. And what's your thoughts on Black capitalism? I don't know how you feel about talking politics, but you know my views are politically incorrect anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I'm really not that into politics because it's all a game. But I mean, we in America, right? I mean, what else,
girl? You know how many people be trying to be anti-capitalist in a capitalistic society? I'm like, how does that
even make sense? Right. I don't know what else to say about it, you know, but yeah, politics on a national scale, I would say it's tricky, man. They do what they want, you know. I don't like how people forget about how the Electoral College works. I'm like, did y'all not watch Schoolhouse Rock growing up? Like, I don't know.
Right.
But I watch.
That's real.
So.
Yeah.
I don't get too much into politics, yeah.
At the end of the day, Black folks, get your money. Get your
money.
I
just take care of me, man. Like, they don't care about us. They never will, you know? So we just got to take care of us. We got to band together and really practice, you know, group economics. I'm a firm believer in that. And I think if we practice that more, we'll be okay. Instead of worrying about who's going to be president. Don't matter who president, they're not going to do nothing for us, you know? So we got to get it on around.
That's why it's so essential to, if you of that like-mindedness, it's so essential to tap into, I call it Black Wealth Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much free game out here. And it's like, for the most part, those of us in that community, we all want to see each other win. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You spoke to group economics. Dr. Claude Anderson has a really good book called Powernomics.
I have it. I haven't read it yet, but I have it.
Oh, girl, you got to check that out. I just finished Black Labor, White Wealth by him. And I'm like, man, this was written like in the 90s, or like he's been preaching this since I was a child. I'm like, bro, how we still ain't been doing this? But
we really got the blueprint. Yeah, the ancestors definitely left the blueprint, but we gotta get to it. Yeah.
And I think the narrative, the tides are changing. You know what I'm saying? I think we're in the middle of this is a modern day. Shout out to Black Wealth Renaissance. This is the modern Black Wealth Renaissance. You know what I'm saying?
I like their podcast too. Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to David. That's my guy. Yeah. All right, so we talked about manufacturing. Let's talk about your marketing channels. How did you go about to getting the name out there in terms of marketing?
At first, it was just me doing everything, just using like proper hashtags. Mainly on Instagram. I started playing around with Facebook ads pretty early. I need to get back on. I'm actually just going to outsource that because I just don't have the patience to figure out the pixel and everything. So
what you thinking? Fiverr.com or Upwork?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Same here.
Yeah, so I definitely need to get a handle on Facebook ads because that's going to matter a lot. But other than that, man, just using hashtags, because if you use hashtags effectively, you can really get it out there. But I really just want it to be on autopilot. So I'm focused more on Facebook ads and Google ads too.
Okay.
That's a big deal. So.
Yeah. What's that? Like PPC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I was actually thinking about starting I don't know if I want to say a shirt line, because I don't know if I necessarily want to limit it to just shirts. But I don't necessarily want to say clothing line, because I doubt I see myself doing like bottoms and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing with me is why I'm thinking that I would want to do your model and have my own inventory instead of like doing the print on demand, because Well, for one, like just going like through Teespring and stuff, like you're limited to even like the styles. Like I want my stuff to be
True.
like, you know what I'm saying? I want it to be cut a certain way. I
Right.
want to control
Yeah.
the fabric, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I do think that your model is I guess it's pros and cons to both models, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pros and
Um
cons. Yeah.
so
The
we'll
cons is I have to go to the post office, but I enjoy going to the post office because that means I got a sale, right?
yeah,
So
that's
I don't
true.
mind. But
That's
once
true.
as my business grows, I'm gonna have to get like the post office to come pick up the stuff because
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be a hassle trying to fit all the stuff in my small car. So yes, it's definitely pros and cons to it. But I think starting out, if you really want your business to be the way you want it, I think you should hold your inventory instead of doing drop shipping. Yeah.
Got you. Got
So
you.
it just depends on your goals. But yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, we're coming up on just an hour here. I have one more question or two more questions for you.
Okay.
For so for a person of the culture that's looking to, you know what, this 9 to 5 thing is cool, or a person may love their job. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not of the people that's like, quit your job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah. If you like your job, keep your job. That's
Right,
cool.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
But for people that's looking to get involved in entrepreneurship, do you have any words
hmm
of advice that you can share?
Um, let me see. What would be my number one thing if you want to get into entrepreneurship? Do a lot of market research first.
Mm.
Um, I wish I had done more research, but if I had done more research, I probably wouldn't have started because I know how I
That's
am.
analysis paralysis type of person.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
same here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was good that I just jumped out, but if you could just go ahead and start and still kind of like do your research along the way, that'll be good. And just figure out what you want to do. Like if you want to go into the service-based business or product-based business, you need to look at the pros and cons of both and figure out where you fit in.
Mm.
And I would say whatever comes easy to you, go into business doing that
Mm-hmm.
because it won't feel like work all the time. So that's what I would say. I think those are important things for entrepreneurs to know. And just be ready to get tested. You're gonna have a lot of times where you want to give up, but you just gotta keep going and don't be afraid to ask for help. Pay for coaching, pay for business consults, do all of that because you're gonna need help along the way. Don't try to do it, all by yourself because you don't know everything.
That's that business development.
Mm-hmm.
It's key. That's essential.
Yep.
So, from your personal business background and what you've been going through these past 2 years, what's something that you've learned during this journey so far?
I've learned that you can't depend on like a lot of your family and friends to support your business.
Girl, when I tell you, I'll be getting tight, especially
Yeah.
on Facebook, and I'll be like, or even some of my friends, I'll be like, bro, how you my best friend? You talk to me every day, and okay, not my best friend, but some of my friends, because she gonna think I'm talking about her. But or even like the audience I talk to every day, it's like, bruh, when I talk about bull crap, I get all the likes and the shares in the world. I get all the interaction. When I'm putting out free game or content, it's crickets.
Yep.
Like,
That's how
bruh,
it is.
but you say that's a good lesson though. You say just don't get mad, don't get upset.
Yeah, don't get tired about it because I mean, a lot of your family and friends might not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. Some of them might think it's a waste of time, but you can't really worry about that because they're not gonna make you rich anyway. Strangers are gonna, make you rich. Strangers are gonna support your business. Those are gonna be your repeat customers. So that's it. Some people in your family gonna support, some of your friends gonna support, but not as many as you think.
Mm.
So when
And
I
so
went through that, it
how is
was
it?
it was tough. Like I really took it personal. Like I was mad. Like
Right? How could
I
you
was
not
mad.
be? You know what I'm saying? How it's just
Yeah.
natural to like be upset with the people closest to you. It's like, bro, you see I'm grinding. You see that I'm. How
Mm-hmm.
you not show support? And this could be something
Exactly.
as simple as a share. Maybe if you don't even buy the product, it's like
Right.
share
Yeah.
it.
You at
Just,
least gonna share it. Yeah. I think a lot of times when you go against the grain, people don't like it. They expect you to just basically just stick to the script. But when you throw the script out the window and you start making your own script, it scares people. So
mm,
I think I think that's the biggest thing, especially with family.
Yeah, you dropped some gems right there. I need to
Thank
take
you.
heed too. For sure, for sure. All right, girl. Well, this has been great. I appreciate your time, sharing your time today for the Culture Podcast. I think you dropped a lot of gems on the culture. We can definitely take
Yeah.
heed, and we learned a lot. Um, okay, I'm gonna wrap up here. Where before we go though, where's you want to give out your handles? Where can people find you? Where can they cop this watch at? Where can they follow you?
Yeah, so you can follow my business page, 24/7 Watches. So that's TWENTY, number 47 Watches on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow my personal Instagram and Twitter at Maya Bandaloo. So that's MYABANDALOO. So, and of course, the website is 247watches.com. Again, I removed the links for you. So you don't have to worry about not wearing your watch because you didn't want to take it anywhere to remove the links. Um, that's it. You get 15% off your first order. Use code thanks at
Hey,
checkout. But that's it.
Eve.
I typically ship out next day. Yeah.
You know, black folks love a discount. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Right.
You
Everybody
say
want a
15%.
discount. Right. You get a discount. But yeah, that's it. I appreciate you for having me though.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm all about black girl magic, black
Yeah.
ownership, black women ownership. I think this is a beautiful thing, man. I think you're super dope, and I want you to keep it up. I'm
Thank
really,
you.
really proud of you for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this has been episode 10 of For the Culture podcast. Thanks for listening. If you have not subscribed, make sure you punch that subscribe button. You can also catch these visuals. You may be watching on YouTube. Also, subscribe to For the Culture podcast on YouTube. That's the number 4, The Culture with a K. I'm your girl, the one and only Tay Jordan. You can find me on Twitter and I said Twitter. On Twitter
Right.
and on Twitter and Instagram at @1ONE_Tay Jordan. Jordan like Mike. Tay is with a Y. And again, thanks for listening. Peace and love. Godspeed.